you're moving into the realm, discussion of realities,
Yeah.
which I've talked about.
Yeah.
Um, reality, you got reality TV, you got all this stuff
Yeah.
that's supposed to be real.
Yeah.
And reality TV is fake, but
Yeah.
it's interesting and it's fun, and
Yeah.
so you take it there. But
Yeah.
um, we are created, and I hate to use that term, so maybe I won't. We were born out of God inside Christ,
Hmm.
and we are as He is, so are we, according to John.
Yeah.
And so we are creators, and we can't not create. We can't stop. We're always creating stuff.
Hmm.
And that's a whole subject in itself. But the fact is that um, part of our creating is creating realities. And the realities that we create, first of all, are up here.
Yeah.
That's where everything comes from, up here. We
Hmm.
can't create something if we don't do it up here first.
Yeah. Yeah.
And what happens is that, and this is an area that I see it, I can't unsee it. I see myself creating all the time. I
Mhm.
see other people, I see them creating. And oftentimes what they're creating is stupid, it's not real, and yet it's real to them.
Yeah.
And so they live like what they've created is real to them, when we know where where are they getting this from? What's going on? Because they've got an image in their mind or something that's not true, but they're living like it's true. And so that's just a little tidbit into that we are, the fact that God is not apparently doing things that He promised to do. Um, that's up in our heads,
Yeah.
and it's causing
Yes.
us to see and not see what is real.
Yeah.
And we're living like, there are times when we're living, God says this, and we're living like that because that is what we see. That's what we expect. That's what we believe. And so it causes us to question what God's up to, because our reality is completely different from what God says our reality is.
Yeah.
What do we do about that? Because you can't deny that God says this, and if we are going to say that God can't lie and God is true, and what He says is true, and when we say that what He says is true, the word true means real. So
Yeah.
what He says is real, and yet what I'm experiencing, well, God would say it's not real,
Right.
because He says, this is my reality. And I'm arguing with Him, no, this is my reality. And I want you to fix my reality so that it could be what you say it should be. And God
Right.
says, I can't say it should be, it already is.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if it already is, how do I reconcile that?
Yeah.
Because I don't like this reality over here that I see and feel, and that other people can even see and feel sometimes. I don't like this, and you promised a different reality, and you're reneging, God, and you're telling me that I've got a reality that I know I don't have.
Yeah.
And so what do we do, Father? um, that's a good place to go, to that discussion with God, to be that honest with God and say, God, it appears to me that you're either, I've got to come up with a new explanation for what you say,
Right.
or
Uh-huh.
you are just not being honest with me, and I don't know why you would do that.
Yeah.
And you see, I mean, it's a confusing issue,
Yeah.
but really, when you finally see what I've seen, it's it's no longer a confusing issue. I know that I am inside Christ.
Yeah.
My reality thus has to be inside Christ,
Yeah.
and the reality that I am experiencing, that that is not good,
Yeah.
there's something going on to this gets, I don't know what to do because I'm experiencing a reality that God says is not my reality. My real reality is inside Christ,
Yeah.
where everything is perfect,
Yeah.
everything is wonderful, where I am healed, I am whole, I am
Yeah.
complete,
Yeah.
and I'm Abba, I need help. What's going on? What don't I know? What? And it's not that. That's the wrong way to say it because as I've told you and we've talked often, we know everything that God wants us to know,
Yeah.
which is everything.
Yeah.
We know it, but while we know it, we also are knowing things that aren't true.
Bunch of
And so
crap.
it's like that thing that I've talked about so often. You can believe something that you'll espouse, you believe it,
Yeah.
yet simultaneously you'll be believing the exact opposite.
Yeah.
So we can believe, we do believe, and yet at the same time, we are often believing something that contradicts what we believe, which
Yeah.
leaves us confused.
Right.
Um, Happens to all of us. Nobody can escape that. I shouldn't say nobody can escape it. We can escape it. We just have to unlearn the things that we know or that we are knowing that are inconsistent with what we really know in our heart.
And
And this opens up a discussion that we're going to go on for a long time.
I know
But
we'll keep going, but if I can, before we wrap, because I've got to
yeah,
do a few things, but to tie that to, I think that ties perfectly to Brady, my son, in
yeah,
that little story of him with his mom,
yeah,
um, how he was experiencing a very, very bad reality. He believed what his mom said. It threw him into chaos. She said, because we'd split, and it wasn't that, I don't think she was like blaming him. No, she wasn't blaming him, but she was kind of blaming him for not seeing that she was right about the things she was deciding, and he knew that something wasn't right cuz he was being put out as a son, and losing this love that he thought he had, and she was kind of just making him feel nuts. He was feeling nuts from it, and he unpacked that and unfolded it and saw that it wasn't true, and saw that what God said about him was true. And this was in very short order. This is like 20 minutes that
wow,
he cried, he hurt, he felt confusion, and he just talked about it, and he was telling me it, and I said, yeah, and I get you, and I see, and that's not right, that would she would say this or that, and he um got to where he said, yeah, that's just I have to like forgive her because she doesn't know what I'm thinking and feeling and what I need, and how I can, and she can't give it right now or whatever. And he walked out of that lie and into the truth, and he was fine. Like, it hurt, it made him sad,
yeah,
it affected him in some ways, it probably
yeah,
built some new unfortunate beliefs, yet it also unveiled some truth
yeah,
about that reality that she's painting of me and for me isn't reality. What God says about me is reality,
wow,
and
how
how
cool,
he loves me and treats me and sees me is reality. And it's
wow,
a process.
yes,
It can be, it's like we've talked about a dozen times. And I think that's, I mean, I don't know if that's quite the answer because we still haven't touched on your cataracts or my, messed up shoulder or what.
yeah,
There's these physical realities, but they're just, I really feel like just seeing that kind of mental reality when somebody thinks something and we recognize it's not true and we can kind of walk out of it. I think that's a good start
yeah,
for experiencing more and more and seeing the physical realities and how they're different than what we take in too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Good discussion this morning.
Yeah, good stuff always, man.
I think this discussion is critical because people are going to listen to it and know I've been thinking some of the same stuff, but nobody
Yeah.
ever talks about it.
Yeah. I loved that verse. I loved that you brought that out, and I loved that it made me think of, yeah, God wouldn't tell us to do stuff that he himself doesn't think or do. And
Right.
people look and think that he doesn't. They think he's lying or whatever. But I don't think he is. I think a lot of people don't think he is. I think they want to believe him on
Yeah.
stuff. And that's just such a wonderful reminder that if he says, if you can do something for somebody, then do it. We can only logically infer that he couldn't say that unless that's how he thought and what he's like.
So what we can take from this is not that there's a bunch of hooey going on, but just that we can learn some things we don't know yet, or
Yeah.
we're not knowing. There's things that we have yet to learn
Yeah.
that will enable us to see what God sees.
Yeah.